I've got about 45 minutes left of daylight. The snow is so deep here, man. Holy smokes. Good a spot as any, right here, tucked in. What is that? There's something here. Cool. There's an animal here. I love how easy it is to set up those tents. The snow is what's getting me today. There is a ton of snow here. It's not a very big stove, so it'll be a good challenge for me tonight, managing my wood. But it's a good size for this tent. This tent, it's not very big, so it can get super hot. I gotta pull that out. So I've got ground here, and I've got one of these stakes with a screw on the end. Excellent. That'll be nice and strong now for pulling out the side of my tent here where the wood stove is. Nice and tight, away from the stove. That's perfect. Check out my beard. Frosty, eh? Holy smokes. And right here on the outside of my sweater too, it's all frosted up. My body heat is escaping and it's making it to the outside of the sweater, which is a good thing. Like, I like to stay warm, and I am staying warm in this wool, but at the same time, my body heat, when I'm moving like this, escapes and it frosts up on the outside of the wool. One of the big reasons why I love cots is that you can keep things underneath of the cot. This needs to dry, so I'm going to expose this to the heat of the stove for a little while, and then I'll puff out my sleeping bag on top of it, which I have underneath of my cot right now. So it's supper time. So the amount of heat that's released into the tent because of these glass walls is incredible. Like, it's excessive. Almost it's a lot of heat. If this was all stainless steel, the stove would be nice and hot, but not as hot as it is with the glass sides. It's a really, really cool feature. It makes for a beautiful glow in the tent, and I just love it. I love using these stoves because they're so unique, and you can just really dial it in. I think I'm just going to put it right about there. Slow it down a bit. Prepare myself some supper. Look at this. Baby, this is a scoff. Wow. A processed hamburger, just grind it in the pan, some hash browns, an onion, and then topped off with a smoky. And you got to get crispy. You have to get it crispy. Flip it, crispy, flip it. Amazing. Let me know some of your favorite meals like this, where you just throw stuff together and fry it all up, because I'll try some. If you guys let me know of a meal that just sounds to me like heaven when I'm out camping, I'll do it. It's just so easy, right? You just throw it in the pan, fry it, put it on your plate. Can't go wrong. Good. Wind comes, it's not going to pull that out. It's a good load of wood right there. I might bring just a little bit more in, because I feel like I'm going to have to fill this up every 3 to 4 hours overnight. But we shall see. That's pretty decent there. I think I've got 3 to 4 stove loads there. Minus 20 Celsius. It's about minus 5 Fahrenheit. I had to take off my my sweater and my hoodie. It's got to be 1,000,000 degrees in here. These tents get hot and stay hot, and they are very, very, very good at what they do. There is no doubt these tents do what they're supposed to do. I'm drinking tea. It's a ginger tea, and I've decided that tea is better for me than coffee. And the reason why I decided that is because I was just like pounding the coffee back. I was drinking so much coffee, like 3 a day, and I love it. And I've been drinking coffee for 30, 35 years. And sometimes I get on these, these tea kicks. And tea, I find, is just cleaner, right? It's like a cleaner caffeine fix. And there's no caffeine in this. This is just a ginger tea, which I'm really starting to like. It's just a really nice, hot, flavorful drink to have after supper. But in the morning, I'm drinking like a red rose, like an orange pekoe, or an Earl Grey, and sometimes green tea as well. And I've completely replaced coffee with tea. And I don't know how long I'll do it for, but I'm really enjoying it. I do feel like I'm missing something sometimes. I'm like, oh man, just like that coffee, that bitter bite from coffee. And and there's times when I do miss it a bit, but I'm making a real effort to go to tea. I just feel like it's a bit better for me. I don't know. What do you guys like? Do you prefer coffee over tea or tea over coffee? And or do you prefer um, like a cappuccino or like a frappuccino or a latte or any of that stuff? I like a black tea and I like a black coffee. Once or twice a year, especially when I'm out camping, I'll watch Happy People A Year in the Taiga. It's one of my favorite documentaries of all time. It's really inspiring, and it's about these trappers who live in the extreme cold and live in these small little cabins and these little huts. There's just something about watching these trappers and hunters go out into the bush, into the deep, deep, deep snow and deep, deep woods for months on end by themselves, completely surviving off of the land. They are excellent at trapping and building skis and building snowshoes and building huts. And they're inspirational. One 112 degrees Fahrenheit, 45 degrees Celsius. This is the hottest tent in the world. There is no doubt this is the hottest tent in the world. I can tell you guys right now that there's no way I'm going to leave this tent at that temperature. I've closed off the stove. It really is just to show you that you can get this tent as hot as you want it, even when it's minus 20, minus 25 outside. You know what? Minus 35, minus 40 outside, you can still do it in one of these tents. These little stoves just crank the heat. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the morning. I had an excellent sleep last night. I slept for about 5 hours. I went to sleep pretty late, around 1 a.m. And then I slept until about 6, like in and out of sleep, but okay. And then I reloaded the stove. The stove went 5 hours. Now the thing is I think it was a little bit chilly in this tent, but I was like very hot in my sleeping bag. I slept with my wool underwear on, long underwear, and I was really warm in that sleeping bag. And so I actually had the windows open for a bit, and I didn't have the stove even cranked. If I was in a sleeping bag that wasn't rated to minus 35, then I probably would have been a little bit cooler. And then once I opened up the windows, reloaded the stove, and turned it like way down, I slept for 2.5 hours like out like a light. I could like feel myself snoring. I must have been snoring because I was sleeping so hard. Woke up at 8:30 and thought that is the most comfortable bed in the world right now. I am not getting out. So I threw another couple of pieces on the stove and lay back down and slept for another hour and a half and just like conked out. So I slept till 10. I've got quite a bit of coals in here, which should keep me a bit toasty while I'm packing everything up. And then when the time comes, hopefully it's pretty much out and then I can put it back. Beautiful day. Beautiful day. This one here. Now this one here, he was anchored in pretty good, just in snow. You give that a bit of time and it's going to get even harder to pull out. Yes, perfect. I really like how when the snow fell off of the tent last night, there's no way it could go in, right? Because I just pulled these anchors down. Perfect. Yeah, these tents are excellent. My pathway from yesterday, which was super soft, is now nice and hard and perfectly groomed thanks to the snowshoes and the sled. This is the life. This is the life. That's it, folks. I can't believe this video is coming to an end already, but it is. And I had an awesome time. I really did. I had a great time, and I hope you guys did too. And if you did, I'd love for you to hit the like button. And you know, I think like 80% of people who watch this channel haven't subscribed. So if you're one of those who's been on the fence, you've watched a few of my videos, I would love for you to subscribe. It would mean a lot to me, and it would just carry this channel further and just motivates me to go out and do more of these videos. So yeah, I'd really appreciate that. Thanks so much for watching. I'll be back really soon.